Hello guys, this is Himanshu and I am back with the part 3 of the optional series. The previous two parts link is in the description. Please go and check and please try to come in sequence if I have not covered those videos, and it is useless to watch directly these videos. Okay, it may be useless. So mm, let's move ahead, and now we'll start with this blog. Actually, this is the blog that I have written. Okay, you can find the link of this blog in the description, and because these things are in a very organized manner, so I'll prefer to go through this. So let's discuss our first topic of this part 3, that is, what problem do these optional concepts solve. Okay, we are using this optional concept, right? So they might be helping us uh, in some manner, they might be solving some problem, that is why we are using, right? So to understand that, first we have to go through this program. Okay, now let's consider that there is no optional concept in Swift. See, I'll try to create a scenario, what happens when optional is not there and what happens when optional is there. I cannot show you here, but we can compare both of the scenario, so that we will understand the importance of optional. Okay, now let's consider that optional concept is not there in Swift programming language. Okay, considering those things, we will use this code. So normally, see, this is x, this is y, normal variable only, and I'll just say print x plus y, so I'll get the output as 18. So this is as simple as that. Okay, now here what happens, I've written some code due to which y can get a nil value at any point of time. And for example, suppose I am trying to run this code now, and I got a nil value inside y. So what will happen is, x, the value of x is 6, and y, the value of y is nil. So 6 plus nil, that is not possible. So your program crashes here, and it will not tell you exactly what the problem is. You have to debug the code and find the problem. So right now I have written few lines of code, but in a professional code, you might have thousands and thousands lines of codes available. I mean, it might be there. So that is very painful to find that problem there. So this is the scenario if optional concept is not there, but luckily we have that concept in Swift language, so no need to worry. So these kind of problems are going to be solved very easily with that. Now let's see why. I mean, let's see how. So if in now think that optional concept is there, so if I see that y can get a nil value, I'll make it optional, because if I am not making an optional, uh, things are not going to work, because optional concept is there in Swift. Okay, so this is what happens. So y is optional, so it is asking me to unwrap because I am trying to use this. So what happens here is, 12 value 12 is there. Okay, then that's fine. X is 6, 6 plus 12, 18. You will get it 18. No issue in that. Okay, so now consider that something happens here and y gets a nil value. Okay, so this become nils, this value become nil, and x is 6, as we know. So when you try to add both these things, what happens is, the compiler comes here, and as this is the optional variable, first it will try to unwrap this. Okay, and we have done that here. So it unwraps that, and it first check that what is the value available inside that variable. Actually, its intention is to check whether nil is there or not. If nil is there, then the program crashes there itself, and it gives you a error message that unexpectedly found nil before executing that code. And exactly it will tell you that in this line the problem is there, and the description of the problem is unexpectedly found nil. So it even told you what the problem is, and it even told you where the problem is. So it made the problem, like solving the problem becomes very easier here. Okay, so that's the beauty of optional concept. So that is why we are using it. And this problem is being solved by optional. Where the optional was not there, we were supposed to debug, and it needs some time and energy to find where the problem is and what the problem is. But here exactly it will tell you in which line the problem is and what the problem is. So that's the beauty of optional concept. So let's move ahead and see something more about this. So what is that is, now the question arises, why are they unwrapping the values in an optional variable? Sorry, it's wrapping, not unwrapping. Okay, why are they wrapping? See, they are wrapping just to distinguish when the compiler comes across a optional variable. It should know that this is the optional variable. So they are wrapping these optional variables. I mean, wrapping the values inside the optional variable inside a pair of brackets, so that when compiler comes across it, it is able to identify that it is the optional variable. So this is one of the reason why they are wrapping. So that is why they are using, they are trying to wrap those values. Now what the compiler will do by identifying an optional variable, now we are wrapping so that after this compiler can identify. Now what the compiler will do, if it identifies the optional variable, simply it will go and check whether nil is there or not. If you are unwrapping that optional, then only, not for all situation. If you are unwrapping an optional variable, then the compiler comes and checks whether a nil value is there inside that or not, otherwise not. So whenever you are unwrapping an optional variable, it comes to you and comes to that optional variable, and it checks a nil value, checks for nil value. If nil value is there, it crashes the program and tells you that a nil value has been found, and it stops the execution there itself. So that is why mm, they are wrapping, that is why they want to identify uh, that optional variable. Okay, so that they can check nil value is there or not. Okay, okay, that's all for this video, and let's meet in the part 4.